And now we move to the Community Board monthly reports. So it's great to have the Community Board chairs and deputy chairs back in the chamber with us. We will just run through them in the same order that they're in the on this run sheet here. So we'll start with Waihoro, Spraden, Cashmere Community Board, and we've got the chair and deputy chair. So welcome.
Kia ora tātou. First of all, can I apologise to my colleague, the other board chairs. I had myself bumped up in the order paper because I had a commitment doing JP duty, and JP duty has been canned. So I'm here under false pretensions. I just want to start everyone knows Lee Sampson,
Morning.
the deputy chair.
Morning.
I just wanted to start by talking about two presentations that the council staff have provided in the last week. They are excellent presentations, and the first one was on ground waste and recycling to the board, and from the stormwater team, Paul Dixon. I'm right, Dixon? And excellent presentation on the proposals in... No, sorry, that was on contamination of our waterways and the water table by the stormwater team. And that was excellent presentation, which I hope goes wider in the community, demonstrating where our waste has come from, where the contamination of our waterways comes from. And if I've been very boring about zinc from roofs and brake pads, I've said it to one person, I've said it to 100 people. I hope that is a presentation that goes wider. And the other one, which we saw, Mel and I saw at Spraden, was on the ground waste and recycling. Sorry to get them confused. Where the presenter, Teresa, where the presenter was there with a council car because she had to take her 3 children with her, and who were thrilled because they never travel in the car, they're always travelling on her bike with her, 3 of them. And they presented on the high-level proposals for ground waste and recycling. And both of those presentations should be seen by every person in our rohi, and thanks to the council for supporting staff to do those things. The first slide. Does someone press a button?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Next slide. Next slide.
Okay. Yep.
This is the kids' coach. Kids' coach is on a bus. They go round, mostly Rowley. They have kids after school, and they teach, educate and support them. And in the middle there is Louise Weller. She and her husband Bernard have been running it for decades. She is just stepping back from front row activities on the bus and doing the actual activities with the children, and she's a step back into organisation. But I just want to honour her and Bernard for the work that they've done for the community, which has been utterly selfless for a long, long number of years. They run a number of activities, of which the after-school bus is one.
Shall I do Rowley quickly? Just
Yeah,
go back
do.
one. Yeah. So let's hope we're not going back down this avenue, but this was what the Rowley Resource Centre did. So they, post-COVID, they letter dropped 600 people in their community, and they got nearly 100 food parcels out to people in need. So it's just a good sign of, how, a bit of community cohesion, how we can support our communities. So they also picked prescriptions up for people who needed it. So they were just there as a network to offer support in the community. So
And food hampers.
Nearly 100 food hampers, so just acknowledging that effort, and it was remarkable. So,
yeah. Sorry, I jumped to that one and that one. Sorry. We've missed one. I think in order.
And
basketball.
We'll we'll keep to the order here then. I'll go this one. So we just appointed a board member, and that's me, onto the Cashmere Stream and Port Hills working group. I think we're getting a higher understanding of, if we disturb the hills, if we cut into the hills, they bleed in terms of sediment. It's a huge problem in the Power Heathcote River, and we're just starting to look at what's best practice nationwide. Once the sediment gets suspended in the rivers, it's really hard to treat it because it stays suspended. So you've got to either treat it at source, you've got to put small dam structures in, you've got to do planting, so you've got to be more proactive up front. So there's really a change in mindset of how you start to look at that, and I think there's going to be some exciting things coming from the Kashmir Stream Working Group. And we'll be reporting to the Zone Committee, and I'm sure we'll be reporting to Council as well, but it's a really exciting space to be in, and I think the tyres are going to hit the road soon. So.
Yep, well done. Keep going, because we're in the wrong order up there.
I think these are on the wrong order than we've got in front of us, so apologies there. We'll go, yep.
Hoon Hay Hoops. Hoon Hay Hoops is, we've had a lot of interest in basketball, as all of you would have had, and it's overtaken rugby as far as Canterbury goes in terms of youth. Which is historic. Basketball has overtaken, amongst youth, has overtaken rugby. And it's very important in our area because one kid can play hoops and a dozen kids can play hoops. It's of vital importance. And the council has responded, and they have helped this group at Hoon Hay, who have actively provided leadership in the provision of lights and the development of the Hoon Hay with Emma Pavey, our staff member, with the development of the use of the basketball courts on Hoon Hay, which just incidentally, the lights have also been welcomed by the community as a security support. And there's a group of young men now who were boys a few years ago when Emma started working with them, who are now providing leadership right throughout Hoon Hay and Rowley, not just in the basketball area, but in the general youth support area. And these young men, mostly men, together with Roy Keneally, organised the Hoon Hay Hoops, and 10 teams participated. All of them had a great time, and it's the courts there are providing for the resource that the council provided. We're getting it back and supporting the area 10 times over.
Okay, I'll go back to the. This is a programme that we're running in council. We had a presentation from Kate Russell and Sally Airley. Ellie, yep. So this is an educational programme. If we're going to change a culture in terms of stormwater management, it needs to start with youth. So this is a really key programme. They've been doing things like having traps in the school, stormwater system to see what goes into the gutters in the school, and they've been finding out, basically that connection between what goes in a gutter in a school ends up in the river quite often. So they've been trying to again work on that mindset. They've been doing river cleanups. Again, and this is all to start, this is about changing a culture and starting at a great place with our youth. So, great programme, and that was a good presentation.
And we feel a bit desperate because Sally Erie, who is the education coordinator for the Healthier Pauaho project, has only got a couple of months of funding left for her job, and would be a very big loss for our area if the Healthy Pauaho project had to die because we couldn't find funding for the coordinator. So we're interested in that as an issue. This is the night market. I apologise. Yes. Yalana. Yeah, my pronunciation in any environment is shocker, and particularly in Pacific. This is the night market that was based at Rowley School, but supported by the community. And I've got a grandson who goes to this school, and my kids were involved in this market as well. It was there's several great evenings. This was just one of the nights that they had.
I'll do St Martin's and then
Menchie.
Yep,
yeah.
Okay. So this is St Martin's Menshed, and you can see it's been a hive of activity recently. It's going great guns, and I've got to say we've given them a modest grant of $4,000. They've done the hard yards themselves. They've sourced that prefabricated X-classroom. They've consented it. They've built new foundations. They've got that installed in a site on Wilson's Road. So they regularly get around 30-40 people, and you're starting to see some cross-generational. You're seeing grandfathers bringing their grandchildren. So you're seeing it's just a beautiful story. And I just want to give kudos to Dougal Wilson, who's the ex-minister there, John Hinchley and Brian Davis, who's the chair. They are the nucleus of what's brought this to fruition. So I want to give them kudos, and it's going great. So really rewarding to see this come into fruition. So,
It's
that's
used
us.
every day,
Okay.
that. Used every day.
Great, thank you very much indeed. Now, that hasn't unfortunately left us time for questions.
Just one point which was brought up about the stream and the sediment coming off. Our building inspectors have taken up the role of inspecting the building sites from ECAN, because ECAN on the hills for sediment runoff, because ECAN said that they were unable to fulfil that role. However, they haven't licensed our building inspectors to prosecute. And this has been going on for some time. So could we have a look at that, please, and move that on? That'd be great.
I can probably talk to that
Yep.
very briefly. So when the global stormwater consent changed over to council, you're completely right. So there's limited means for enforcement. Now, the current council inspectors are just doing a tick box when they visit the sites, and that's not their expertise. So I think there's going to be more of a pushing movement to have somebody who's dedicated in terms of stormwater management, or at least one or two expertise personnel that can look at these matters, because I think it's needed. It's obviously from issues we're having at power heat cuts.
All right, thanks
Can
for
I just
raising.
add to that, Andrew, that because this came through the zone committee, that when I was on there, it's not because ECAN can't do it, it was an efficiency of resourcing, because the city council staff are out there inspecting the building, so you may as well have one inspection team doing the both. But Tim's right, the issue of the enforcement still needs to be addressed, but it was finding efficiencies of one inspection rather than two agencies, and that's an example of us working really well together.
You would have to say that it's almost ineffective because, and it's not their fault, but I am saying that the runoff from the hills, particularly if you're looking down the other end of Cashmere Road, round the Horsewell Quarry, etc., the runoff from the hills is manifest.
There's a lot
All
of
right,
talk.
we are
and not
going to
much
need
has
to wrap this up
changed.
because I want to stick to time, but it's good that it's been raised, and we can certainly pick it up in conversations with ECAN. Carolyn and Lee, thank you very much indeed for presenting to us this morning.
Thank
Great,
you.
thank you. All right, so moving on to our next... sorry? Oh, right, sorry, yes. So we've got a resolution in front of us, sorry, my apologies, to receive the Community Board report. So this is item 11. So who wants to move this one? Tim, are you wanting to move this?
Yep. Sorry.
Yep,
Yes. Sorry.
all right. And James, you'll second. That's great. So all those in favour say aye.
All right.
Against? That's carried.